wildcard character underscore when you are using like or I like. Okay, so I've been teaching you I like, so let's just stick with I like because that is not case sensitive to make the work easier. Okay, now underscore. How do we use the underscore? Remember, I said the percentage sign is a placeholder for any number of characters. I'm saying any number of characters. Okay, while the underscore is a placeholder for just one character. So if I say select asterisk from customer, okay, let's start with this so that you'll be able to understand, because someone was asking why we put percentage sign after E, then for the last name we put percentage sign before M. Okay, now let's start with this and demonstrate. So on the customer table, let's select only the first name column. First name. Good. Now I want us to experiment with this column. I want us to experiment with this column, the first name column. Okay. Now let us try getting all the first names that end with letter D. Okay, let us get all the first names that end with letter D. I'll simply say where first name the SQL slide has been sent to the platform since the first day of SQL. So where first name I like, then in single quotes. Now, remember, I said I want the first names that end with letter D. End with letter D means that the name can have any number of characters. It can be 4-letter words. It can be 3-letter words. It can be 2-letter words. It can be 5-letter words. It can be 10-letter words. So far, it ends with letter D. Okay? So, it means that D must come last. So, before the letter D, I can have 1 letter, 2 letters, 3 letters, 4 letters, 5 letters. Now, because I am not specific on the number of letters that should come before letter D, I use my percentage sign. So that percentage sign is saying I can have any number of characters come before the letter D. So the letter D has to be the last character. That is the meaning of it ends with the letter D, meaning any number of letters can come, but it has to end with letter D. So if I run that, you see that all the names I have end with letter D. You can see Jared, Mildred, David, Richard, Donald, Edward, Ronald, Raymond. I can see that they are not all the same length. For instance, Fred is a 4-letter word. Is a 4-letter word. Howard is a 6-letter word. Leonard is a 7-letter word. So for Fred, I have 3 letters before letter D. For Howard, I have 5 letters before letter D. For Leonard, I have 6 letters before letter D. Okay, so this percentage sign is simply saying I have any number of characters, any number of letters, but D must come at the end. Okay, so if I say select asterisk, or let's work with the first name still, first name from customer, where now Beatrice Adamson, what's your question?
Yes, sir. Okay, so I'm trying what we're doing right now. Because I understand from the class that I like is not case sensitive, isn't it? But when I used capital letter D for after my percentage, it returned an error. But when I changed it to small letter D, it ran very well. So I don't know why.
Capital letter D.
Yeah.
Run. You see that I did not return an error for me. You want
okay, but mine is returning an error, sir.
Okay. You are working with the same PostgreSQL and PG admin. Check your query very well.
Yes. Okay, it's okay now. It's okay now.
Okay, so there's nothing like it's okay now. It means you didn't write the correct thing before. Okay. So there was probably a mistake somewhere.
Yes, sir. Probably.
All right.
Thank you very much.
So now, select first name from customer where. Okay. Now, I said the percentage sign, you can use it to specify, okay, any number of characters. Let me see something. Okay, 5. So any number of characters, isn't it? Right? That's the reason why we have all this. Now, if I want to get a first name that is just 2 letter words, a letter and a letter D, it is just 2 letter words. You can see the percentage sign is going to bring out any number of. So it can be 4 letter word, it can be 5 letter word, it can be 6 letter word, and so on and so forth. But I want just 2 letter words, something and letter D. So here I am going to use the underscore or the dash symbol to specify one character. So I'll say where first name I like. So where first name I like what? Remember, I still want it to end with letter D. But this time around, I don't want just any number of letters before letter D. I want just one letter. So I'm going to use the underscore or the dash symbol to specify that letter. So I'm saying dash, meaning any letter can be there, just one letter. Just one letter. So if I run that query now, you see that it does not return anything for me. Isn't it? It says there is nothing like that. There's no first name that has just 2 letters. No first name that has just 2 letters and the last what was it called? The last letter is letter D. Okay, let's see. What if I want to say 3 letters? Is it possible? I use another underscore, meaning 2 letters before letter D. Okay, 2 letters before letter D. So let's run this. If I run this, you see that it gives me third. Third is a 3-letter word, specifically 2 letters before letter D. But if I run this one with the percentage sign, I am simply saying any number of letters before the last letter that will be letter D. Okay? So while the underscore allows you to specify the number of characters, the percentage sign allows you to specify any number of characters. Okay? So, can someone tell me now the difference between this query? I want you to look at it very well, okay, before you answer. All right, I'm going to write 2 queries now, and I want you to look at it very well before you answer. You can either answer by typing your answer on the chat box or you raise your hand. Now, these two queries that I've just written, I want somebody to tell me the difference between the two of them. Between this query and this query. Okay, I have one hand raised. Adebi.
Yes, sir. For the first query, it means that the two dash between the D, it means that the D will be in between a three-letter word. The D will be between a three-lettered word. And for the second query, that means the percentage means that the D, any amount of letters can be before the D and after the D. I feel like that.
All right. That's one person. Any other person? Beatrice.
Okay. For the first query, it implies that the first name has just three characters, three letters, but with D as the middle letter. The first letter could be anything, any single character. Then we have D. Then the other character could be any character. Then for the second query, we have any number of characters before D, then any number of characters after D. That's my understanding, sir.
All right. Okay. Let me see what I have on the chat box. Only the two of you raised your hand. Okay. All right, so let's have one more person. Happiness Godwin. Happiness Godwin. Let's have you as well.
All right, sir. Like, to my own understanding, can you hear me, sir?
I can, very well.
Okay, sir. The two dash between the D, like it should be three-letter words, and the D will be in the middle of the three-letter words. Then the last query will be it will be many letters before the D, and other letters will follow.
Okay. All right. Very good. So now, Benjamin, do you have something different to say?
I don't want to attempt the question.
Huh?
I don't want to attempt the question.
Okay. Attempt it.
First one, there must be two-letter word before the T. And
the first one?
Yes.
There must be how many letters?
Two-letter words before the
Two letters before the D?
Yes, two letters before the D. That the D is just in between. And two letters after the respect of the number of letters before and after the D, letter D.
Okay. What did I say the underscore represent? Benjamin.
The underscore, we said it gives specific number of alphabet, the specified number of alphabet.
So 1 underscore means just 1 letter. 2 underscores will mean 2 letters.
Yes. Okay, that is 1 letter before the D and 1 letter after the D.
Very good.
Number before the D.
All right. All right. So we've all tried. But I think one person that really hits it on the head is it Nna? Nna. N-N-A. Okay. So the first one has just 1 letter before the letter D, 1 letter after. So it's going to be a 3-letter word. So the first name has to be a 3-letter word, and letter D will be in the middle of the first letter and the last letter. So if I run this, I have one name like that. Ida or Ida. I don't know how to pronounce this, whatever it is. Okay? But you can see I have 1 letter before D, 1 letter after. Now, this one would mean that I can have the letter D anywhere in the word. Okay? I can have the letter D anywhere. If I run this, you will see that it is bringing out names that end with letter D. Look at this. It's bringing out names that end with letter D, that start with letter D, that letter D is in the middle, the letter D is somewhere, it's just somewhere in the word. Okay, so that is the difference. This one requires it to be a 3-letter word, and D would be in the middle. This one does not require it to be a certain number of characters. It can be as long as possible, but the letter D would be somewhere there. Okay, so it is not specifying that, okay, it must have some characters before D. For instance, Dorothy starts with letter D. Does he have any character before it? No. It only has characters after it. So because I use percentage sign before D and percentage sign again after D, if there are no characters before D, so far there's character after D, it will return the name. So if you return every name that has letter D in it, okay, so let's do a last one, and then we move on to order by. So can someone tell me what this query is trying to achieve? This query. Can someone tell me what that query is trying to achieve? Okay, Ajiboye Rashidat.
Good evening, sir. What I understand by this is that the two letter will be before D, then any letter, as many as possible, will be after it.
Okay, very good. Adebi.
Okay, sir. What I understand by this is the initials of the first 2 letters before D it can only be 2, and D can be found anywhere after the 2 letters. Yes, like D can be found anywhere after the first 2 letters.
Beautiful. Very good with that response. So it means that D can even be the last letter if it's a 3-letter word. Okay, because that percentage sign does not necessarily mean that a character must be there. If there are no characters after D, it's done it. But the underscore is being specific that there must be a character. So one underscore means there must be one character. Two underscores means there must be two characters. Okay, so if I run this one now, even though I have percentage sign at the end, if I scroll down, I will see third somewhere. And remember, third ends with the letter D. It does not have any letter after or any character after it. Do you see that? And so you have it. So you see that the rest of them, you have just two characters before D, like Judith, Judy. Then you can have any number of characters after. Andrea, Audrey, Lydia, Andrew, and so on. Okay? So remember, you can use this to play. All right? Practice with it in your leisure time. Okay? So let's quickly move on to order by. Let's quickly move on to order by and then aggregation functions, count and distance. So group by would come with aggregate functions. So we'll look at the sum, average, min, max when we start the group by. So let's look at order by and then the other basic functions, count and distance. So if just like in Excel or Power BI, you want to sort a column, okay, you have a column or you have a data and you want to sort your data set by a specific column. Okay, how do you go about it? I have my data. Let's say let's just work with customer table. Select from customer. So this is the customer table, isn't it? Now, if I want to arrange this table in, let's say, ascending order of the first name, or I want to sort it in descending order of the last name, how do I go about doing that? This is where your order by would come in. Okay, so how do I make use of the order by? Very simple. Sorting query results with order by. The order by clause is used to sort the data that is retrieved by a select statement. It allows you to specify one or more columns to sort by, as well as the sort direction. So you can sort in either ascending or descending. Okay? For example, to retrieve all employees sorted by their last name in alphabetical order, you would use the following syntax. So here they are sorting by the last name in alphabetical order. Do you see that? Okay, so if I come back to my table, if I want to sort the customer name, I want to sort this table by the first name. How do I go about it? Select asterisk from customer, and I'll simply say order by what? Order by first name, the name of the column. So that order by simply means sort by. Okay, but it's called order by. So order by the first name. So if I run this, you see how it rearranges the table. Now, by default, whenever you make use of order by, it sorts it in ascending order. So you don't need to add the keyword ASC for ascending. ASC means ascending. You add it after the column name. So if I do ascending, if I run this, you can see that it's still the same thing. But if I want to specify that it should sort it in descending order, I make use of DESC and I run it. Do you see that? So the first name is now sorted in descending order. Okay? So if I want to sort instead by the last name, very easily, same thing. Sort or order by last name. In descending order. If I run it, it is the last name that will be sorted in descending order now. Okay? So, let me give you a small tip. There is like an hierarchy to how you make use of statements in SQL. For instance, if I want to select the first 10 names that start with letter A, the first 10 names that start with letter A, let's say the first 10 first names, okay, or the first 10 customers whose first name starts with letter A. Okay, I can sort in ascending order. I can sort in ascending order, which is default. First. Okay, and then after that, I will limit to just 10 rows. When I run it, give me the first 10 rows. You see that? But you cannot say limit before order by. If I say limit 10, for instance, now many of you are familiar with you using select asterisk from table, then limit the number of rows, isn't it? If you do something like this, then you now say order by. If you run it, you see that you have an error. So there is like an hierarchy to which you must use this statement. All right? So you can't just use it anyhow. Okay? For instance, now, if I want to include a condition that, okay, the first 10 customers, okay, so arrange their names in ascending order. And then I'm going to include maybe a where clause that, okay, where the first name ends with letter C. Okay, I must put the where clause before the order by. I'll say where first name I like ends with letter T. If I run this, now let's start with this. It will first run this. It will get all the names that the first name ends with letter T. It will now order it by the first name before it will now give us the first 10 records. Okay? But if I put the where clause anywhere else, let's say I put it after the order by, it won't work. Rather, I'll get an error. Okay? So you have quite a number of, what's it called? Codes or queries or statements. Okay? And there is an order to which you can use it. But if I can remember clearly, things usually start with select from where, select from join on, then where, group by, having, order by, and limits, based on what I will teach you. Okay, so if you use having before group by, it won't work. If you use order by before where, it won't work. So there's like an hierarchy to it. So there is every tendency that what you are typing, the syntax you are typing, you have the idea, but the hierarchy to which you are using it is wrong. That is another thing about SQL. So it is constant practice that gets you familiar with it. All right. So I'm going to leave this here. Finally, let's go ahead and look at select counts and select distinct. So before, I would ask you, how many records do we have on the customer table? And you'll tell me select asterisk from customer. If I run it, I have 599 records. But if I want it to give me the total count, it should just return just one answer for me. It should not return all these records. I just need the count, the number itself. What do? I will say count, select count, and inside brackets, I can put the asterisk or the column name. So if I run this now, you see that it gives me 599. Isn't it? So I can get how many movies we have on the film table by simply saying select asterisk from, or select count asterisk from film. If I run this, I have 1,000, meaning I have 1,000 records on the film table. That is how you use the count keyword. Okay? But if I want to get distinct records, how do I do that? We know the meaning of distinct. If I do something like this, select count distinct, asterisk, and then, from film, and I run this. You see that it gives me an error. Okay, I say, let me put this as well in another bracket of its own and run this. I still get an error. Okay, So if I want to use distinct count, I use distinct count to check for I use distinct count to check for the distinct number of values that are present in a column. I will start with the distinct keyword. Okay, let's look at our film table again. Select from film. On the film table, I have a column called rating. Okay, now in the rating column, I'm having different kind of ratings. Some of them are repeated. What if I want to see all the possible ratings that we can have? No repetition. I just want to see all the possible ratings that we can have. It means I want to check for the distinct ratings, isn't it? Right? So the query I will simply use is I will say, select distinct rating from which table? Film. So select distinct rating from film. So it will give me the distinct values on the rating column. Do you see that? It will give me the distinct value on the rating column. Okay, so if I want to now say, okay, I want to combine it with count. Okay, so count how many distinct values that we have on that rating column. What do I do? I'll simply put count, and then I'll put this inside brackets. Okay, so count the number of values that are distinct in the rating column. So when I run, it's supposed to give me 5, isn't it? When I run it, it gives me 5. And that is that for the section 2 of this course. So when we start the section 3 in the next class, we'll start with aggregate functions, sum, average, mean, max on a column. Then we'll look at applying group by. Okay, this is where the concept of, don't let me mention it. It's going to be a quick assessment in the next class. Okay, but I believe from tonight's class, at least, I have juggled our memories regarding SQL, and at least we should be understanding it better. All right. So, Oni Adebayo, your hands were raised. Do you have any question?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. And good evening, Coach Malik. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can. Good evening.
All right. Hello?
I'm with you. I can hear you.
Based on the SQL, talking about the select and from file, from thing, and also whatever what we want to talk about, maybe we want to look for the day, or the date, or the phone. Hello, can you hear me?
Your network is started. Breaking.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Okay. We've discussed about the first name, talking about the first underscore name, and also the last name, which is last underscore name, and we'll put the alphabet that we are looking for. Peradventure, if we need to get the name starting from A, for example, please, how are we going to arrange that? with this SQL.
You want to get which
that all the alphabet will be in a sequence of A. Do you understand that?
I don't understand.
Okay.
But it seems like you answered the question.
Additional, Adam, and so on like that. That
So you
everything.
want to get every letter.
You understand me now?
Right?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Malik. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but maybe the network.
We can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. Maybe the network. We can hear
Yes,
you.
we can
Maybe
hear you.
the coach's network is bad. I think it's his network. Just wait. All right. Sorry for the break in transmission. My network there had issue. So let me quickly drop the attendance. Attendance has been dropped. So please fill the attendance as quickly as possible. Okay, so for Mr. Adebayo's question, Mr. Ani Adebayo's question, so I showed the solution to that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we start with letter A and end with okay, and this is how you write it. So if you run this, it means that you will get one letter A, and that's it. Right. So that's all. So please fill your attendance. How is the Power BI project coming along? I hope we're rounding up with it. 11th is not far away. 11th is not far away again. And for those of you that did not submit your Excel project, I think there is going to be an opening towards the end of the program. Maybe after the SQL, last SQL class, there might be an opening for you to submit your Excel project. It might just be like a 3 days opening actually. So I want you to prepare for that. Okay. Ajiboye Rashidat, you have a question.
Yes, sir. Please, when I've done my dashboard today. I even started at the middle of the night so that I will finish everything. In fact, I was through with it. Oh, I don't know how the thing was just disappear. I cannot cry.
Disappeared.
One lie.
You didn't save it.
I just finished.
It's part of the learning process. All right, I've been there. It has affected me even recently. You can be working and you are enjoying the work so much that you forget to actually save. Okay, it has happened to me recently. I had a lot of applications open on my system, and my system hanged, and Power BI crashed, and I lost the work I was working on. So I had to start again.
Okay. Oh God, it's terrible. It's well. All right, sir.
Yeah, but you still have till 11, so I will
start today again. No,
okay, all right. Again. But make sure you're always saving at interval.
Okay. Yeah, but you said we must not load the Power BI too much. That is why I left
it. No. Loading is different from saving.
Okay. I'll start again. All right, thank you, sir.
Control S.
Yes. Interval. Yes. Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right. You're welcome. Yes. Why is it that no matter what I filter, my data of it still shows infinity? It depends on what you are filtering. You probably filtering by date. And if you are filtering by date, if you select that data, if you select January for that data, to most likely show infinity. If you select any month outside of July, to most likely show it. Okay, because the data is from I think January to June or so. Okay, so infinity would occur when you are divided by a value of 0. Means if the value for the previous month is 0, it shows infinity. So if you are clicking January, there's no previous month. So infinity. If you are clicking August, there's no previous month. Previous month is July, and there's no record for July, so it will show you infinity like that. All right, so that's it. You don't need to do year to date. No, you don't need to do that. Don't worry. You don't need to do year to date. But month on month, that one is very. You need to see that yes, two people can do it on your own individually, and you can do it. You can make the color and all of that. Try your best possible. If you cannot make up with it, just make sure that you actually submit something. Okay.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
I can't hear anything again.
You can't hear me again.
You were responding to my question. Please, I couldn't hear anything.
I mentioned year to date. Yeah, I said you don't need to do year to date. Okay, you don't need to do year to date. For the month-on-month visual, I need that. I need to see that yes, you can do it individually on your own. Okay, and the colors are changing as well. Red, green, red, green. Okay, I need to see that you can do that as well. You can't find the submission link. Somebody should please send the submission link to the group chat for colleague here. Okay, so I hope everyone submitted their attendance. If you're unable to submit your attendance, please. The submission link the person is talking about is the submission for the assignment, for the project, rather. Okay, so send the project submission link to the WhatsApp plan. Anthony, Adrian.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Are you hearing me?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay, sir. What I want to ask is in regards to the assignment, can we, since the data set and start from January and end in June, can we do that? Is it possible to do January to June and not January to December?
January to June. So which date are you talking about?
Sir, your line is breaking.
Yeah, so which measure are you talking about? Which measure do you want to do for January to June alone?
The measure you told us, is it not month on month?
I only asked you for month on month. Yes, it's only January to June now.
Okay, no problem, sir. Thank you. But this thing I was telling the assignment, the online I was trying to do, I was unable to still get the profit margin. I don't know what happened. I don't know why I'm getting outrageous.
The reason why you are having outrageous answer, if that is the formula you use for profit margin, the reason why you'll be having outrageous answer is if you already multiplied by 100. After multiplying by 100, you still went ahead to click percentage format again.
No, sir. I later rechange it, and it was still giving me the same answer.
If you rechange it,
yes. The line is breaking.
It shouldn't.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you again.
Okay. Bottom day, Abin, you have a question.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. So you said we are not meant to do says year to date and some other time series. So what do you now mean when you told us to calculate sales by time, making sure to group the time?
I think you don't need to calculate sales by days.
Can't hear you. It's fainting. Your response is. Voice is fainting.
I said you don't need to calculate sales year to date, right?
Yes.
Okay, but I said you should calculate sales by time.
Yes.
Now,
you said make sure to group the time. You said make sure to group.
Didn't you see a column for time there?
Yes, it's there.
Okay, so sales by time.
So where I'm quite confused is when you say make sure to group the time.
Okay, so if you have been in class, okay, which I believe you have, because I've been seeing your name very well, you will see that whenever we visualize by time, because the time, what is it called? Occurrence of time it's quite much in the data. You might be having a data, it's just be spiking up and down and down. Look, somehow, what is it called? Let's say jaga. But when you group the time,
yes,
group of 3 hours. When we group it, I think the last two Power BI classes. It's normally even for suggested lesson 18. Okay, put it like bins, like 2-hour bins or 3-hour bins. So we can have like 2 to 3, 3 to 6, 6 to 9, something like that, or 1 to 3, 3 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 9, 9 to, something like that. So it makes the data.
Okay. I understand. Now. Thank you.
Lesson 18. Thank you very much. So, so I think we're done for today then. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining tonight's call. Do have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.